Newcastle United are close to finalising a deal for a new goalkeeper. Kieran Trippier signs a new deal. Celtic midfielder gaining interest from the Premier League. Former Liverpool striker starts retirement. And AFC Bournemouth get a new technical director. Here are your daily Premier League news headlines. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another edition of the daily Premier League news headlines. I'll be going through all the latest news, rumours and reports. My name's Lee The Dorset Spur, and if you're watching on YouTube, please like, comment and subscribe to the channel. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. Okay, so let's get into it. Newcastle United are close to finalising a deal for goalkeeper Yawin from Reims, worth around £18.5 million. The 20-year-old is expected in the UK within the next 24 hours to finalise the move, where he'll be signing a long-term contract. Eddie Howe was keen to add to his goalkeeping department this summer after Aaron Ramsdale returned to Southampton and Nick Pope enters the last year of his contract. Yawin is a France international and has played through the age groups of 16 to under 21s. Wolves have confirmed the signing of out-of-contract Newcastle right-back Kieran Trippier on a free transfer. The 35-year-old joins the newly relegated Championship side on an initial 2-year deal. Head coach Rob Edwards said, "I'm so happy to bring him here. When we met, it was evident that he really wants to come to Wolves. We know what we've lacked this year and we know what we need next year. Experience, leadership, resilient characters and strong characters. That's what we're going to need in abundance, and he ticks every box. He did have a good options elsewhere, so for us to be able to get it over the line and get him here is a real coup." Nottingham Forest, Fulham and Sunderland are all interested in Engles at Celtic. Forest had a number of bids for Engles rejected in January window, the final one at £25 million. Forest remain keen to sign him, especially given Manchester City's ongoing pursuit of Elliot Anderson and the need for new midfielders. However, they now have competition from Fulham, despite the club being without a head coach following Marco Silva's departure, as well as Sunderland. The 22-year-old who has 4 caps for Belgium has a contract at Celtic until 2028. Fulham have announced that Raul Jimenez will leave the club at the end of his contract. The Mexican forward will become a free agent on the 30th of June. The 35-year-old has scored 31 goals in 115 games since moving to Craven Cottage, including double-digit tallies in each of his last 2 seasons. Fulham have also announced that Harry Wilson has been offered a new contract with the Cottagers, waiting to see what will happen to their star man this summer. Aston Villa are said to be interested in the Wales international on a free transfer. Former Liverpool striker Divock Origi has announced his retirement from football at the age of 31. The former Belgium international made 175 appearances for the Reds and scored 41 goals during his time at Anfield. His goal tally includes history-making goals, including a brace during Liverpool's famous 4-3 second-leg comeback against Barcelona in the Champions League semi-final and a goal in the final against Tottenham. Origi also famously enjoyed Derby Day fixtures against Everton, scoring 6 in 11 league outings against the Toffees. After leaving Liverpool in 2022, Origi joined AC Milan before a loan to Nottingham Forest. Origi has also represented Belgium at the 2014 World Cup and Euro 2016. He scored 3 goals for his nation. Speaking exclusively to Sky Sports, Origi said, "I have been blessed to win some of the biggest trophies in the game. But more than that, I'm proud to have contributed to the teams that will forever be remembered in the history of football clubs like Liverpool that have shaped the game and will keep shaping it. And alongside that, I'm proud of who football made me. It helped shape me into the man I was created to be. It shaped my faith. I have no regrets. Every journey has its challenges, but through my faith, I've always believed that every challenge came to sharpen me, either as a man or to push me and to grow as a player, to sharpen my craft. That's how it's meant to be. I embraced every celebration and every challenge because both made me the player and the man I am today. Vitaly Mykolenko has signed a 3-year contract with Everton that keeps him at the club until June 2029. The 27-year-old left-back joined the Toffees from Dynamo Kiev in January 2022 and has gone on to make 157 appearances for Everton. After penning his new deal, the Ukraine international told Everton TV, "I feel excited to sign on this new contract, very excited and proud. I remember the first message I received from Seamus Coleman when I signed in 2022. I remember reading it and thanking him for welcoming me. He gave me the confidence immediately that I'm a proper family here. In the first few years of my time here, we were struggling, but our team, as a family, every person in the building gave everything to get through it. We have now is stronger and we are getting better every season. For me, it's most important to feel confident and feel comfortable in the environment, and I have to be there, so I'm really happy." Reading midfielder Matt Richie is to retire and take up a new role as Bournemouth's technical director, replacing Simon Francis. The former Newcastle, Bournemouth and Portsmouth man is calling time on his playing career and has opted to move into football recruitment. The 36-year-old still has a year to run on his contract at Reading, but has decided this was the right step in his career and for his family. Richie made his professional debut for Dagenham and Redbridge back in September 2008 and then went on to make over 600 career appearances, 184 in the Premier League. He also chalked up 16 Scotland caps. Richie was at Bournemouth between January 2013 and July 2016 before moving to Newcastle. So, my views on all of these stories. Well, Newcastle signing a new goalkeeper, that makes sense with Nick Pope having 1 year left in his contract. A 20-year-old goalkeeper though, very young. But a lot of these rumours and transfers at the moment are all really young players. It seems like the Premier League are trying to bring in some youngsters now to boost their time and give themselves something for the longer term rather than short term. It's a real interesting change in my view. We're yet to see the start of the transfer window, so some of the bigger transfers that are going to come will probably come a bit later on. But it's interesting to see all these youngsters getting moves to big clubs to start a new chance and to get a better view of how the longer term's going to work. I think it makes absolute sense, and hence why maybe Tottenham have done so much building that already. Maybe we are a little bit ahead of the game, bringing out those youngsters and so on. But football is about the now rather than the future. Fans want to win it now. They don't want to be in a relegation fight every season. So it does make sense to have that right balance, but certainly planning for the future. It is really sensible thing to do. Kieran Trippier moving on a free transfer. I know it's to the Championship, but you know, 35 years of age now. He's been around a while, played for some big clubs and everything else, and won a few trophies. So good for him. I think it's a right move for him. I think Kieran is obviously a player who wants to get as much as he can out of his career before moving on. I personally think Kieran Trippier would make a good coach for the future, and maybe that's where he's going to learn his trade around what it's like in the Championship as well as in spending those years in the Premier League. So. And good as well. I think we don't do this enough. Is taking players from the Scottish Premier League. We used to always buy loads of players from up there, especially Scottish players. But that's dried off a little bit over the years, and we don't tend to get so many kind of coming to the Premier League. So good to see. A player, getting linked from Celtic. It shows that Celtic are doing really well, and that league has got some decent players in it at a decent level. So yeah, a good one to see coming on. And finally, Origi announced his retirement, very young, 31 years of age. I'm not sure the reasons behind his retirement, but 175 appearances for Liverpool, won a load of trophies and everything. Obviously, scored against us in the Champions League final as well. So, yeah, interesting. But it just shows how short a career can be. We've seen that with Christian Eriksen as well recently, haven't we? So, yeah, players have to do what is right for them. It does make sense. So yeah, good for him. I'm sure the money he's earned in Premier League football and Serie A football is enough to allow you to retire at 31. How good that would be. And Matt Richie going to Bournemouth as a new technical director. Yeah, interesting, but he does have history at Bournemouth. So yeah, we'll see how that turns out. But it does show that ex-players don't just have to go into the media or into management. You know, there are other avenues for them to go into. So good luck to him. Good luck to him. It's good to see that there are options out there. Anyway, listen. Short one today. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. If you're watching on YouTube, please do hit that subscribe button. If you're listening on an audio platform, please do hit that follow button and leave a review if you can. I'm Lee The Dorset Spur. I do have my own channel, but as well as doing stuff here for Chris. So if you'd like to come across and link up with me, I'd really appreciate having you there. Come and say hello. And I'll see you on the next one. And as always, up the Spurs.